What must be one of the prettiest cars in the Jeff Lane collection, the Lane Motor Museum, is this 1954 Rogue, not to be confused with the latest Nissan Rogue SUV, which obviously looks nothing like this. Really pretty car, never heard of it. What is a Rogue?
So Rogue was built by really two companies. There was a company in Pennsylvania called Plasticar that built things out of plastic. And there was a company in Lansing, Michigan that was a chemical company, but they wanted to start doing low volume production like sports cars. So they kind of combined together. The people in Pennsylvania obviously built, it's a fiberglass body, and it's built on a Renault 4CV chassis. They actually bought 50 complete chassis from France to build the cars, but they only built 2 before they decided that it wasn't practical and didn't build any more cars.
So when you say it wasn't practical, it's a beautiful looking car. It looks superbly well made. Did they decide that the profit margins weren't there, that it didn't really have the production facilities? Because it looks to me like it would have been a fantastic sales success.
Yeah, I think what they did is they thought it wasn't going to cost that much to get into production like everybody does. And after they built a couple, the 2 prototypes basically, even though they had the other 50 chassis, they realized, this is going to be much more expensive than we think. And then how do we market it, right? How do we sell it? And I think the other issue they ran into was, although they were able to purchase the 50 drivetrains, floor pans from Renault initially, after they did that, I mean, it was a couple of years before they got these first 2 cars done. And at that point, Renault had changed their mind and said, we're not going to sell you any more floor pans or drivetrains. And they think, okay, this is a dead end, right? I'm going to build a car which I can no longer, and unless I do a Volkswagen or some other type of...
Which means a complete re-engineering.
Right, you got to redo the whole body and everything, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know who designed it? It does look professionally designed. The proportions are right, the shape's right, it's beautiful.
It's a beautiful car, and I can only imagine that somebody in Plasticar, the Plasticar company, did the designs.
But when you look around it, there are kind of elements of quite a few different cars. And at the time, in the 50s, there were a lot of low-volume glass fiber car manufacturers who were using the same kind of themes within their design. So I guess there's a bit of this and a bit of that, and they put it all into the melting pot. So it's a Renault water-cooled 747cc engine,
right,
from memory?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And
that's mounted in the rear?
Yep.
What's it like to drive?
It actually drives very well. Because you think of a 4CV, kind of heavy, not real fast. This is quite a bit lighter, quite a bit more aerodynamic. So it's not fast, but it's really pleasant to drive. And it tracks good. And when we took it to the show, we took it to Amelia Island this year. A lot of people look at it and they think Devon, right?
It looks very much like that.
I mean, the U.S. company that made a lot of fiberglass bodies for a lot of different cars, right?
Yeah.
So it's got a lot of Devon look to it, but it drives great.
No doors, so you have to clamber over.
Yep.
Presumably no weather protection. This is just a tonneau around here.
Right.
Okay. And then you've got a little bit of trunk space in the front, engines in the back, and a Renault logo on the wheel. That looks
and it's the regular 4CV instrument cluster here.
Okay.
So, yep. But I'm sure they didn't do the doors because it's
that
strong,
takes a lot of engineering.
Strong without it, and you think about all the effort to make a door and make it fit good.
Exactly. Locking mechanism, sealing.
Locking.
So a lot of hassle. 2 were made. Do you know what's happened to the other one?
The other one's still in existence, and it's owned by a gentleman in Pennsylvania that vintage races it.
So it's used, but probably not quite as pristine as this.
Right, because we just finished restoring this about a year ago. So this is a fairly recent restoration.
It certainly looks absolutely mint. Well, I think I need to talk to that guy who races his and maybe try and prise the keys from his hand, because this is one I want to put in my collection, I've decided.
Okay.
But good luck to me with that.